Hello guys and welcome to Haymanager. Today I'll be looking at the top 4 contenders and who I think will finish in those illustrious top 4 spots. So I'm going to go straight into the graphics today, and in third place we're going to look at the bottom 2 because I think Manchester City and Manchester United have secured their spots in the top 4. Generally speaking, with 7 games left, I think they've just about pipped it. So we're going to have a look at the teams one by one who I think are in contention for these last 2 spots essentially. So Leicester City, third, 56 points. You can see on here, I've got the club profile going on here. The recent results, they lost 3-2 to West Ham. They lost 2-0 to City. But they did beat Sheffield United 5-0 and Brighton 2-1. But Sheffield United in a bit of a limbo state at the moment, not really getting any results, conceding lots of goals, not really scoring. So it's a bit of a nice pick-up there for them. Easy 3 points, and then Brighton obviously 2-1. Pretty decent result. Upcoming fixtures, West Brom, Palace, Southampton and Newcastle. Next 4 games, you can probably see them winning. I'd say West Brom's a difficult game now with West Brom's form. Palace a simple game. Southampton a simple game. Newcastle picking up a few points here and there, surprisingly. The draw against Tottenham and the win at the weekend where they did come back from a 1-0 deficit to win 2-1. Don't know how they did it, but Newcastle I think should be an easy win. So you're looking at around about 12 points there, potentially. I'd say minimum 8 points from this. It's got to be. Otherwise, they've really had a bad run of form. Key players, you're looking at Fofana coming through, being great for them. Schmeichel being great for them. Vardy running out of form, but as you can see from the top goal scorers and top assists, he carried them essentially this season so far. Iheanacho hit fantastic form. Definitely a fancy Premier League pick if you've not picked him up already. Fantastic player. Definitely put him in your sides. And also, Ndidi. Brilliant player as well. Fantastic. The injuries they've got at the moment, Morgan's out, Justin's out still, Cengiz Under is out as well as Sioncho, who's picked up I think it's COVID-19 at the moment. Barnes is slowly recovering from his injury. Maddison obviously left out for, well, let's just say he was having a bit of a party at the weekend. It wasn't with Jamie Vardy. Other than that, I think that's about it for injuries for them. So they've got quite a few injuries. Players coming back. Justin's out for the season, I believe. Under might be back for the last few games of the season, but they don't really use him anyway. Then Sionchu, obviously recovering from COVID-19. Sooner or later, Leicester City for me, a nice little run in. I'll do my comparisons at the end, but they're looking strong to finish in the top 4. We then move on to 4th position, West Ham United, 4th, 55 points. Recently just beat Leicester at the weekend, a huge result for that for them in the long-term looks of things. 3-2 win against Wolves as well before that, then a draw with Arsenal, which was quite kind to them. 3-all, well, they lost the 3-0 lead essentially, and then they lost to Manchester United. But their upcoming fixtures, looking at Newcastle, Burnley, simple games, but away from home, a Chelsea game, which will be deciding games of the season, I think, as well as Everton as well, who are also contenders for the top 4. It's a difficult running for West Ham United, but after the results they've had in the last 4 games, they lost to United, obviously, United in great form at the moment, then a draw with Arsenal, which is surprising considering how well Arsenal have been playing. 3-2 against Wolves, kept composure, managed to keep that lead, and then Leicester 3-2 as well. It's surprising they let teams get back into the games, but they've done it, they've done the business. And I think they can do it against Chelsea and Everton potentially. It's going to be big games for them there. The key players, Declan Rice, who's out with an injury, might be back within the next 2 or 3 weeks. He has got a quite bad injury to his knee, but he's in the stands, he's supporting the team. I think he'll be back and raring to go for the Euros as well. Jared Bowen, a man on fire at the moment, playing in that striker role like a right forward. Lingard in behind the strikers, who's been unbelievable for them. Absolutely unbelievable. Cresswell, a great cross for the ball. Brilliant on that left-hand side. You can see top assists. Cresswell there, in there with 7. Best for West Ham. And Souček, let's just say he's had a fantastic season. Top goal scorer as well. Bowen in there with 8. Lingard, who came to West Ham at the end of January, I believe it was, has scored 8 goals since January. I can't really express how well that transfer has been for them. That might secure them a top 4 position, but it's going to be difficult for West Ham with the running of games they have. We'll then go into 5th, who are Chelsea. 54 points. Frank Lampard obviously in the past now, Tuchel coming in. The recent results have been a mixed bag. They beat Chelsea 2-0 and then Leeds all of a sudden a draw against them 0-0. A very boring game to watch that. And then a 5-2 loss to West Brom. Obviously they went down to 10 men with Thiago Silva getting sent off. That game against Palace really showed how good Havertz can be in that essentially striker position. It's like a modern day forward, like not a false 9, but a central attacking midfielder in there who can do the business. A lot like Bruno Fernandes, who's sort of playing as a striker for Manchester United for the majority of the season, but they've been fantastic of late, Chelsea really, especially in the Champions League as well. That 2-0 win against Porto, you can't really argue with that. Zuma, a very fantastic centre-back, essentially been their number one pick throughout the whole of the season. He's been very good for them. Rudiger as well, a big shout for them at the moment. Timo Werner, not been the striker that they wanted him to be, but ever since Tuchel came in, getting those assists, going down that left wing, been more of a provider than a goal scorer really than anything. Then we see Mason Mount, who I think is a phenomenal talent. Lampard was right to pick him over Havertz for the majority of the season. He is unreal. Every single game, he's got goal contributions galore for him. As you can see, 10 throughout the season. And then Havertz and Mendy. Mendy, a great goalkeeper, you've got to admit. I mean, the amount of clean sheets that man has kept has been astonishing since Tuchel has come in. It's brilliant to see. Then Abraham, a surprise top goal scorer, well, joint top goal scorer. Abraham, Jorginho and Mount. Werner, maybe not the favoured striker anymore, but maybe the favoured left winger. But then you can see Pulisic coming in there as well. It's a bit of a difficult one. But yeah, no injuries for Chelsea. The next few games, Brighton, West Ham, Fulham, Manchester City. 2 big games there. West Ham away and Man City away. Brighton, a difficult game. Expected goals FC in Brighton. And then Fulham as well, who are on a relegation battle. So a lot of relegation battle sides, a lot of top 4 sides. Chelsea are in for a very difficult ride here. I can't see them really progressing in the Champions League as well as keeping the results flowing throughout the next 4 games. So we'll have to see how they cope. Then into 6th position, Liverpool. A very poor season for Liverpool. 52 points for them. Klopp doing his best, but what can you do when your side just gets those 2 big injuries at the back, or 3 big injuries if you want to call it. Recent results, they lost to Fulham 1-0, lost that home record, and then they beat Wolves 1-0, beat Arsenal 3-0, and then they beat Villa 2-1 at the weekend, coming back from the 1-0 deficit. So proving they can sort of come back into the games and maybe want it a bit more than everyone else. Upcoming games against Leeds are going to be a difficult one. Leeds have had some fantastic results of late. The draw with Chelsea, the win against City, they've been playing very, very good. And then away from home to Manchester United, it's going to be a difficult one, that one. United at home. United are in just great form at the moment. It's going to be difficult for Liverpool to keep the Champions League flowing as well as beating Manchester United. It's going to be a hard, to manage the side, it's going to be very, very hard for them. Trent, Jota, Robertson, just to name a few players, they've been very inconsistent. I'd say probably Jota's been more consistent than the other 2. That Alexander-Arnold and Robertson full-back role has been very difficult for them this season. You've got to expect them to be a bit better with the running of games they've got. Been quite kind to them this run of games. Top goal scorers, you've got Salah, 19, fighting for that golden boot, doing the business for them. And the assists haven't really been as big a contribution, should I say, for them this year. They've been struggling assist-wise. That's probably where the struggle has come from. Van Dijk, Joe Gomez, obviously the 2 big centre-backs out for the season. It's a shame really, but what can you do? You should have your backups. Matip getting injured is a poor one, and then they had no centre-back. They were playing Fabinho and Henderson as centre-backs. It just doesn't work. It just does not work. We then move on to 7th place, who is Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Tottenham Hotspur, a difficult one. They lost to Manchester United at the weekend. We saw that 3-1. They then drew with Newcastle 2-2, which was a difficult one to take. They lost the London derby against Arsenal, but obviously beat Aston Villa in their upcoming fixtures. Pretty kind fixtures. I mean, Everton's a difficult one. Southampton, you see it as a straight win at the moment on current form. Sheffield United, a straight win at current form. Leeds United away, again another difficult one, but Leeds have a very difficult set of fixtures, to try and cope with. Kane in fine form. Kane wanting to leave now. I believe he will leave. I can't see them getting Champions League. The top 4 is going to be a struggle for them, but you never know. It's a weird season, this one. Son with 14 goals fell off form of late, big time. He scored in 2 games, he got 2 hat-tricks, so you're looking at 6 goals, 8 goals spread across the other 29 games. It's hard to say that Son's been playing well of late. Doherty and Davies out injured for the right-back roles, but I think they're out of favour anyway, Doherty and Davies. A weird signing, Doherty, for a Mourinho side that have not used him to his full potential. It's a difficult one. So then we're going to go on to Everton, who are sitting in 8th, 48 points, 8 points off. I believe Leicester. Difficult times for Everton, very difficult times. Calvert-Lewin got injured, he had to be rotated out of the weekend. They drew with Brighton, which isn't a bad result. 1-0 to Palace, another loss there, loss of points there, where they shouldn't be dropping points. Upcoming fixtures, Tottenham, Arsenal, Villa and West Ham. Everton have a very difficult run-in, an incredibly difficult run-in with fixtures. The players such as James Rodriguez at the start of the season, who were helping them big time, has just fallen off. Digne can't really produce a bigger impact on the side when they've got to defend, because the defence isn't as strong as it was. Calvert-Lewin's fallen off form because he's picked up a few injuries. Richarlison's picked up the form. You've got to give it him. And Ben Godfrey, who's playing at right back for them now, he's been playing very, very good for them. I think they brought in Coleman as well, who's a bit more of an experienced right back. so it helps support Ben Godfrey. Calvert-Lewin getting the top goal scorer for them, 14 for him. If he can come back, there'll be a big help for them. And top assist, 6 for Digne. I was saying, with the upcoming fixtures for Everton, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. So I'm going to go towards the top 4 battle now. You can see all the fixtures on the screen. In bold, I've put who I think they'll struggle against. So we've got a nice run in here, as you can see. Awful last 3 games. So you're looking at them trying to pick up as many points as they can against West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton and Newcastle. The minimum, as I said, probably 8 points there. Minimum they want to get for them out of the 12, and then the last 3 they'll take as many points as they can against Manchester United, who will be fighting again to try and just secure that top 4. They might have secured it by then, who knows. Chelsea, who might be in the Champions League but need to try and gain points on Leicester. Then a Tottenham side who are probably fighting for Europe at this point. Might be a huge last game of the season. West Ham United, Newcastle away, decent game. Chelsea at home is going to be a big game to watch, I think. Very, very difficult game. And Everton as well. I'd say that's quite a hard game for them, but at home I do fancy West Ham. And then Brighton and West Brom and Southampton. I think a nice last 3 games to go to West Brom and Brighton, and then Southampton at home for the last game of the season. Incredibly kind to them. Then we have Chelsea. Awful last 4 games. We've got Brighton, who are, as I said, the expected goals FC. Difficult game to go into and try and take it to the front foot, but I think Brighton might just lose that game. West Ham away, I think that's a loss for Chelsea at this point. If they want to try and stay in the Champions League, keep that consistency going, it's going to be hard for them to balance that. Then Fulham at home, it's a relegation battle for Fulham. They might just turn up on the day, might nick a draw, but if Havertz plays the way he did, you can't see Fulham getting any result. And then City, Arsenal, Leicester and Aston Villa all in a row. It's going to be very hard to manage how they can get into the Champions League final potentially, then also manage a City side, an Arsenal side, a Leicester side who are fighting for top 4, and then a Villa side who will be fighting for Europe, never mind top 4. Liverpool the kindest of the bunch. Leeds away, you might see them maybe win that game. Newcastle at home, United away, that's probably the most difficult one, and then Southampton, West Brom, Burnley and Crystal Palace. You can see them picking up, again, a minimum 10 points maybe 3 wins in there and a draw. It's got to be. You've got to win the games at home, at Anfield. But if they progress through in the Champions League, who knows, they might have to be balancing sides, swapping players in and out. It's going to be hard for them to manage them games. Tottenham, Everton away, big game, huge game. If Everton win that game, I'd probably deem Tottenham out of the top 4 race. A draw minimum against Everton there, away from home. And Southampton, Sheffield and Leeds. Maybe a chance to catch up on the likes of West Ham, Chelsea, Liverpool. West Ham and Everton, it's probably one of the 2 between them. The last 2 games of the season. Aston Villa at home and then Leicester away. That Leicester-Tottenham game could be a decider for Harry Kane's future and whether or not Tottenham or Leicester get Champions League football. And then Everton have probably the worst running of games I've ever seen. Bar Sheffield at home, you're looking at Tottenham at home, Arsenal away, they have to play Villa at home, a scheduled game that one is, and then Villa away, and they have West Ham away, never a good game. As I said, I fancy West Ham for that. Sheffield at home, Wolves at home, City away. Last game of the season, Manchester City away. What a difficult run of games for Everton. If they can get anywhere near Europe, I'd give them a lot of credit here. There's Arsenal and Leeds who are barking at the opportunity of being in those 5th and 6th spots, maybe even that 7th place spot, which might be Europa League football. They're trying to sniff the ways in there. And then you've got Everton who have this running of games which is so difficult. Getting that double against Aston Villa might be a plus for them, who have fallen out of form Aston Villa, but Grealish obviously returns soon. A Tottenham side out of form, a Sheffield United side there. It's just going to be hard for them to be picking up points, Everton, in my opinion. In my opinion, who I think is going to finish in the top 4, it's going to be Leicester. And it's going to be a battle between Liverpool and West Ham. If West Ham, after the Chelsea game, are sitting in that 4th or 5th spot ahead of Liverpool, I think West Ham take that. For the last few games of the season, they've got Burnley, Everton, which I think is a win anyway, Brighton, West Brom, Southampton. As long as they manage their games well, West Ham, I think they've got it, simply because Liverpool are in the Champions League and trying to progress through to the final of those stages. So yeah, that's my opinion. As I said, leave yours down below. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I shall catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.